I'm here merely saying to you, look, there's a better way of life. You do not need to live like animals, following your own desires. The big industries you see nowadays in the West are things like gambling, pornography, alcohol, drugs, homosexuality.
If you took over Britain, you'd ban alcohol.
Of course, alcohol will be banned, drugs will be banned, pornography will be banned, gambling will be banned. But the money saved, there will be no monarchy.
La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah.
Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Muhammadur Rasulullah.
La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah.
Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Muhammadur Rasulullah.
There's none worthy of worship except Allah.
There's none worthy of worship except Allah.
Muhammad is his messenger.
Muhammad is his messenger.
La ilaha illallah.
La ilaha illallah.
Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Muhammadur Rasulullah.
Yeah, well, basically, I mean, we were inundated with threats of violence, with threats to kill and murder. We had hundreds of them in the 2 weeks when we were advertising on the text, via email, on blogs. Basically, the reality that I envisaged was that Piccadilly Circus, which was the place of rallying, would have been occupied, and the people were planning to attack us in Trafalgar Square. Now, I have with me women, children, elderly, therefore I had no option but to relocate.
I don't think any person with those views, no matter what colour, race or religion he has the right to speak them on the street. If I came out with half of what he said about beheading people, etc., etc., I would be arrested for incitement.
We are not a military organisation in this country. We're out there to engage people in confrontation. We're not planning any kind of operations. If we were doing so, you would not see us out open publicly. But that does not mean that we do not believe in the eradication of man-made law and supremacy and sovereignty only for God. And the way the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ eradicated the non-Islamic law from the Arabian Peninsula, we hope one day to eradicate man-made law from Britain, with the generations to come from the rest of the world, to fulfill the prophecy of the Prophet that the whole of the world will one day be under the authority of the Muslims.
First of all, I believe that the British people, they are very ignorant about the fact what is happening abroad, even about Sheikh Osama. If they came to actually verify with us rather than show an ugly face and be angry with us, they would find that Islam is truly something they like.
Please, he's honest. He's not. Yes, he is. Please, he's honest. He is an adherent to the Islamic
He's an extreme Muslim. No, he's a Muslim. No, he's a pure Muslim. He adheres to the Islamic text completely. What does he do that is wrong in your eyes?
I've spoken to many of my colleagues, for instance, at work. One incident was about the Sharia, where they were saying that he was telling me how barbaric chopping the hands of the thief was. And 2 weeks later, his laptop was actually stolen. And he came to me and said, I feel like killing the man, chopping his head off. I said, for God's sake, all we said is chop the hands off. Don't go chopping the man's head off.
Shall I take you to the training camp?
Yeah.
Where we're doing kind of like Al-Qaeda training. and we're making like nuclear weapons. Yeah, maybe I'm doing that in my garden. Who knows? It may well be. Yeah. I think there might be a bunker underneath, Whitechapel Mosque. Maybe we need to dig it up and have a look. Yeah. You don't want to believe everything that you see and you read in the media. One of the problems with the media is that they'll fabricate something and then they'll start believing it. You see, so that's quite dangerous, really. You invent Frankenstein and Dracula, and then you start to become afraid of it, forgetting the fact that you invented him in the first place.
Somebody else. So let me ask you a question. Look, all I'm saying is, with the word of Jesus, is the word of Jesus any different to the word of God?
My name's Abu Sumayya from Stoke-on-Trent. I became Muslim about 5 years ago now, March the 5th, 2005. Basically, whatever Allah has given for us, we're going to take. If Allah tells us that we lash the person who doesn't pray his prayer, we lash the person who doesn't pray his prayer. If he tells us we stone the adulterer, we stone the adulterer, only because our Lord told us to. That's all. Whatever our Lord told us, we follow.
Assalamu alaikum. We're gonna eat downstairs, but I've got some crew with me. You don't mind it?
Have you seen this one? What does it say? That's the American major in the army who turned on his colleagues.
Well, I don't think he went crazy. I think what he did, he woke up to his reality really as a Muslim, and he realised that, in fact, his so-called fellow comrades were going and occupying Muslim land, killing innocent men, women and children. And it's something that he could not handle, really, and he realised, I think, that he has a responsibility. And he probably did what I think many other people may do within the US Army, and the British Army even, if they continue with their foreign policy. it's a very severe lesson for the British and the Americans in Afghanistan, that the Afghan police are killing them, and even their own comrades are killing them. So, they need to pull out. They cannot possibly win. I don't feel sorry at all for the non-Muslims, because Allah said in the Quran, He said, فَلَا تَأْسَ عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ. He said, don't feel sorry for the non-Muslims. Allah destined for them not to embrace Islam. He destined for them to die as non-Muslims. He destined for them to go to the hellfire. So why should I feel sorry for people, who ended up like that?
What flavour have you got? Is that chocolate or vanilla? Chocolate's your favourite?
When we're eating, at the end of it, we lick the fingers, like the brothers do it there. And Muslim scientists have found that these three fingers release a chemical, and when it gets to our basically system, it helps us digest the food. You see.
You feel enlightened. You'll never look at a Muslim the same now.
In the past, you come across as quite scary guys, but
I am quite a scary guy. For people who don't believe, who believe that they can occupy our land and they can just discriminate against Muslims, we're very scary. But for those people who believe that we can live together under divine law, we're not very scary at all, really.
Well, folks, you can take that for what it's worth. You can be the judge for yourself and decide, on what side of the fence that you fall on. I just want to make a few points out there. First of all, going to the gentleman that was protesting against Al-Majroon and this whole thing with Anjem Choudary. Before I make that comment, I'll let you know that Anjem Choudary was put in jail and charged with terrorist acts, aid and abetting, terrorist organization, Al-Majroon. Al-Majroon is completely banned in many Muslim countries because these are the people that want to take over the Muslim countries and put them under complete theocratic law and topple the governments that are already there. So even though there is a Muslim government in place, these people don't like that Muslim government. They want to institute their form of their Muslim government that they've interpreted, the theocratic caliphate state. And obviously those Muslim countries don't want that to happen. So they want to get rid of these people and they push them out. And what happens? The Western democracies, Great Britain, France, Spain, some of the other countries out there, they get a phone call from these Anjem Choudary wannabes. And they say, hey, you know what? We want to come to your country because our lives are in jeopardy over here. Well, what'd you do? Oh, we were just peacefully protesting. Freedom of speech. We just want to be ourselves. Oh, is that all? Yes, and our lives are being threatened. Can we come over to England? Sure, no problem. Come on over. And those Muslim countries are going, oh, that's great. Go, go, go. And what happens? They come over to the country and they start stuff like this. And you go, what the heck's going on over here? Well, we could have told you they wanted to topple the Muslim countries, a present Muslim country's government. They wanted to topple it, a coup d'etat, get rid of it, eradicate it. What do you think they were going to do when they came to a Western democracy? Just say, oh, everything is fine? No, they want to take over that thing as well. And so Al-Majroon and extremist groups like that, Islamist terrorist groups like that, like I said, have been banned in Muslim countries. Now, the gentleman that was protesting, Anjem Choudary and his group, basically said, yeah, okay, maybe they do have the right to say what they want to say that. But he said, if I said that, or if anybody white were to say that, they'd be arrested for incitement, for speech that is violence, speech that could cause that you're telling somebody to do something, a violent act. So there's a two-way street. And the British High Command, they have no balls, they have no cojones. They don't go out there and arrest these people for saying things that are insightful, for saying things that are hateful, for saying things that could lead to violence or calling for the violence, like decapitation, those kind of things. Of course not. Now, he comes off in this video, like, oh, you're just talking to a kook, the weird uncle at Thanksgiving or whatever. And like he said to the person who was interviewing him, he said, "Oh, you know what? You want to come to our Al Qaeda training camp? You want to come to our bomb making factory? Maybe it's like, underneath our mosque, or it's in my garden. Maybe I'm making a bomb in my garden or whatever." It's just, and sort of, jokingly saying this thing basically. So the fact of the matter is that underlying what these guys want, they want to establish a theocratic state, a Muslim caliphate, and get rid of the Western democracies if they could. That's what they feel, that's what it's all about, that theocratic state surrounding the whole world. Now, my question is that there are these hate speech laws in Great Britain, and more have been added. And so one of the things people say is, well, what if somebody wants to say that they want Sharia? Well, how different is that? Somebody says, you know what? I like communism. I want a communist state in Great Britain. Or I want socialism. I want socialist policies. Or Marxist policies. I don't think, you know what? We may not like to hear that. But if somebody says, I'm a communist, I would like communism to be, I'd love to have communism be the ism for Great Britain. That, to me, is not hateful speech. I think it's stupid speech. But you can't jail people for being stupid. Otherwise, most of us would be in jail. But to say that you want Sharia law in the United Kingdom, okay, I don't want Sharia law in the United Kingdom. But if somebody wants to say that, that's fine. He's not going to get many votes. So this is going to be decided. The Labour Party, at the very extreme Labour Party, people will call them communists and Marxists. At the less extreme, they'll call them socialists, which they probably are. They want socialist policies. So there's a fine line. But when that speech crosses that line into, somebody would say that, you know what, that's getting violent, or you're calling for violence, or what you're talking about could lead to violence, that's where that thing stops. And then one thing I did see, usually you see, it's so funny, you saw where, now I don't know why they decide to gray out or fuzzy out the pictures of the soda cans. I don't know if that was from an advertising point of view, that because usually they'll gray out pictures of people that don't want to be, taking a picture someplace and they say, don't show me, or children, they'll fuzzy it out or fade it out. So I don't know if they did that because they look like Coca-Cola cans. Maybe Coca-Cola didn't want to be associated with the group, obviously. So they said, fuzzy those things out. So I caught that thing inside there. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Sheikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you haven't done so already, you like our content, you know what to do. Subscribe to this channel. Smack that like, share, and follow button. You all know what to do. Check out our other video links above and below. My final thought is always, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.